Just how alarming is the global trend of declining birth rates? Get ready to discover the shocking truth behind population dips across many countries in this video. Welcome to Simply Economics. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an amazing content from this channel. If you're following world news, you may have heard about the decline in birth rates that's been happening all over the world. Why is this happening? What sort of long-term effects could it bring about? In this video, we shall dive deeper into the demographic time bomb that could reshape our world and show you evidence to back up these claims. This isn't something we can just brush off. Let's explore together what this means for us as a society. The rapid decline in global birth rates. The Malthusian trap theory was proposed by British economist Thomas Malthus in 1798. The theory suggests that while human population growth increases exponentially, the growth of resources like food supply only increases linearly, leading to an inevitable imbalance. Malthus expressed concern that the continuously increasing population would reach unsustainable levels and might require sudden events like wars, disasters, and famines to bring the number of people to more manageable levels. In the following 200 years, the world population surged from 1 billion to 8 billion individuals. However, it has been observed that shock events are not necessary to change the path of population growth. The decreasing birth rates worldwide are gradually leading to a scenario that Malthus could not have predicted: a stagnant or even shrinking global population. What countries have declining populations? New data indicate that Japan's birth rates have reached an all-time low, with the number of registered births declining to yet another record low in 2022. According to data released by Japan's Ministry of Health, the number of births in the country in 2022 was 799,728, which is the lowest ever recorded and the first time it has fallen below 800,000. Government data show that this figure has almost halved in the last 40 years. It's also worth noting that China's population, which is the largest in the world, has declined for the first time in 60 years due to a record low national birth rate of 6.77 births per 1,000 people. In 2022, the population decreased by 850,000 to 1.4118 billion in comparison to the previous year. The declining birth rate has been a trend for several years now and has resulted in the implementation of various policies aimed at curbing this trend. The latest statistics reveal that not only Japan and China, but also other countries are experiencing a decline in their birth rates. South Korea has a birth rate of only 6.89 live births per 1,000 individuals, while Andorra has 6.91, and Puerto Rico and Portugal follow closely with 7.90 and 8.02 respectively. Understanding birth rates versus fertility rates. To better comprehend this topic, it's crucial to grasp the terms birth rate and fertility rate. The crude birth rate, or CBR, is a widely used metric to gauge birth rates, indicating the number of live births per 1,000 individuals in a particular population over a specified duration, which is generally a year. The decrease in crude birth rate can also be attributed to the decreasing fertility rates worldwide. It is important to note that fertility rates represent the number of children a woman is expected to have in her lifetime, and should not be mistaken for birth rates. A country's birth rate is not solely determined by the fertility rate, but also considers other factors such as population size, age distribution, access to contraception, cultural norms, government policies, and socioeconomic conditions. Why are global birth rates falling? The decline in birth rates can be attributed to various factors, some of which are positive developments such as increased income, better education, and improved access to healthcare and reproductive services. This trend has allowed women to participate in a wider range of economic and social activities, while also indicating that more children are attending school than working. The decrease in birth rates can also be attributed to growing worries about the planet's future and financial prospects. In the Western world, raising children is often viewed as financially unfeasible due to the expense of living. It is paradoxical that as living standards improved, birth rates dropped. However, the expense of living and housing expenses is discouraging many potential parents from having children. The fear of the future caused by COVID-19 has led to a decrease in birth rates, especially among young people. This decline has been observed since 2020. What are the future consequences? A significant impact of decreasing birth rates, which is already evident in many regions globally, is that the population is rapidly getting older. As there are less children being born, the number of elderly people in proportion to the working age population is increasing. This creates difficulties for social welfare systems, healthcare, and pension schemes due to the demographic imbalance. As the population gets older, governments will have to allocate more resources towards pensions and healthcare because older people use those services more frequently. However, since there will be fewer young people with jobs paying income tax, the government may have to increase taxes on a smaller working population. This presents a challenge for the governments. The labor market and economic productivity can be negatively affected by declining birth rates. This is because a smaller workforce can result in labor shortages, skill gaps, and less innovation. In addition, a decreasing population means less consumer demand, which is a crucial aspect of the global economy. As a result, there may be a need for restructuring the current growth model of development. Is the human species bound to be extinct due to declining birth rates? In 2021, Scientific American published an article by Dr. Henry G., a paleontologist and evolutionary biologist. The article discusses the concerning state of the world's population dynamics and environmental decay, leading to a potentially bleak future for humanity. Despite the cheerful tone of the article, its message is a warning about the potential for our collective demise. Dr. G suggests that our speedy advancement as a species has a negative impact, as evidenced by the population boom currently occurring, which will ultimately lead to a bust. Signs of this phenomenon are already present for those who are observant. According to him, if the habitat deteriorates and resources become scarce, fertility decreases, the death rate exceeds the birth rate, and genetic resources become limited, this leads to a decline. The question is how quickly this decline will happen. He believes that the human population is headed towards not just a decrease, but a collapse, and it may happen soon. Are there any solutions? The Japanese government has been advocating for increased financial aid, such as additional subsidies for raising children, more lenient student loans for higher education, and improved availability of childcare services. Additionally, it seeks to shift the cultural attitude to promote greater gender equality in both professional and home environments. Japan even planned to fund artificial intelligence matchmaking schemes to help its residents find love, as a measure to increase its declining birth rate. The Chinese government is planning to implement projects in various cities to encourage a more supportive environment for marriage and childbearing. In addition to reversing its one-child policy in 2015, the government aims to guide young people on the concept of marriage and childbirth. The China Family Planning Association, which is responsible for carrying out the government's policies on population and fertility, has launched initiatives aimed at promoting marriage and childbirth among women. In South Korea, local authorities have introduced programs that offer incentives such as cash grants and medical aid for fertility treatments to encourage people to have children. The government has also released a set of measures including favorable job openings for youths and cheaper housing to combat a declining birth rate and aging population. Many countries, such as the United Kingdom and Canada, have used immigration as a solution to counteract declining fertility rates and increase their population. Some countries have implemented policies such as extended maternity and paternity leave, free childcare, financial incentives, and additional employment rights as alternatives. What about the birth rate situation in the U.S.? The birth rates in the U.S. have been declining since the Great Recession from 2007 to 2009. Prior to this period, birth rates had remained relatively stable for almost 50 years since the highs of the baby boom in the mid-20th century and the lows of the baby bust in the 1970s. The average birth rate per woman in 2007 was 2 children, but since then, it has dropped by over 20% and is close to the lowest level in a century. In 2021, about 3,661,220 babies were born throughout the country in 2022, which represents a decrease of less than 1% from the previous year. Why Americans are having fewer kids? In comparison to the past, there is a trend of people having children at a later age, leading to lower birth rates. This delay means that individuals have a shorter amount of time to achieve their desired family size before they reach biological or social limits for childbearing. Moreover, the postponement of parenthood also increases the likelihood of changing one's mind about having children. Why are people having kids later? One hypothesis is that Americans perceive parenthood as more challenging than they used to. Even though the U.S. economy has recovered from the Great Recession, many young people are still uncertain about their ability to attain the necessary things such as a good job, a stable relationship, and safe, affordable housing to have children. Raising children has become more expensive, including costs for childcare, housing, and college education. On top of this, parents may feel the need to meet the high standards of intensive parenting and prepare their children for an unpredictable future. So, where does this lead us? The reason for the declining birth rates and smaller families could be the growing individualism among people. They no longer feel a strong connection with large kinship networks. However, this trend could also lead to the development of new types of social solidarity. It may cause people to rethink their relationship with capital and the planet in a world where there are fewer children being born. Ultimately, the declining birth rate is a complex issue that has many underlying causes. As such, it can only be addressed through multifaceted solutions that take into account factors such as population size, age distribution, access to contraception, cultural norms, government policies, and socioeconomic conditions. Only then can we hope to address the challenges of population decline and ensure a bright future for humanity. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our future content. We truly appreciate your support. See you in the next one.